At its height, the Roman Empire was the undisputed master of the known world, a beacon of order, power, and civilization. But in the span of a single lifetime, that beacon almost flickered out forever. This wasn't a slow decline. This was a sudden, violent, and catastrophic collapse that brought Rome to its knees. This was the crisis of the 3rd century. Welcome back. For context, the Roman Empire of the 2nd century, under rulers like Trajan and Marcus Aurelius, was a colossal, unified state stretching from Britain to the deserts of Syria. It had a stable currency, secure borders, and a single, powerful emperor. But when the last strong emperor of this line, Alexander Severus, was assassinated by his own troops in 235 AD, the unthinkable happened. The system broke. What followed was a 50-year period of pure chaos, often called the Imperial Crisis. It was a perfect storm of 3 simultaneous disasters that fed into each other. The first and most immediate disaster was military anarchy. The army realized it held the real power. In these 50 years, Rome was ruled by over 25 different emperors. Most were military generals, and almost all were murdered, often by the very soldiers who proclaimed them. One emperor, Valerian, was even captured by the Persian king Shapur and, according to legend, used as a human footstool. The message was clear: the throne was a death sentence. This led directly to the second disaster: economic collapse. To pay the armies that kept them in power, emperors desperately needed money. So they debased the currency, melting down the silver coins and mixing in cheaper metals. The result? Hyperinflation. The trust in Roman money vanished. A bag of coins that once bought a house could barely buy a loaf of bread. The empire was reverting to a barter economy. And with the legions constantly fighting each other in civil wars, they weren't on the borders. This invited the third disaster: simultaneous foreign invasions. Germanic tribes like the Goths and Franks poured across the Rhine and Danube. In the east, the powerful Sasanian Persian Empire captured key Roman territories. For the first time in centuries, the Roman Empire was fighting for its very survival on multiple fronts at once. By the 260s and 270s, the central government in Rome lost control. The western provinces of Gaul, Britain, and Spain broke away to form the Gallic Empire. In the east, the brilliant and powerful Queen Zenobia of Palmyra carved out her own empire from Egypt to Turkey. Rome was no longer one empire, it was 3 warring states. Just when all seemed lost, a series of soldier emperors from the Danube, tough men who had spent their lives on the front lines, began the fight back. The greatest of these was Aurelian. In just 5 years, he was a whirlwind of action. He defeated the barbarians in Italy, crushed the Palmyrene Empire, and reabsorbed the Gallic Empire. For this, he was rightly called Restitutor Orbis, the restorer of the world. Aurelian's work was solidified by Emperor Diocletian, who completely restructured the empire to prevent another collapse, creating the Tetrarchy, or rule by 4. But the empire that emerged from the crisis was fundamentally different. It was more militarized, heavily taxed, and authoritarian. The classical pagan Rome of old was fading, making way for the late antique, more rigid empire that would eventually split in 2. The crisis of the 3rd century proved that even the mightiest civilizations are fragile. It was a trauma from which the Roman Empire never fully recovered, setting the stage for everything that was to come. It wasn't the fall of Rome, but it was the moment Rome learned it was not invincible. What do you think was the most devastating factor? The civil wars, the economic collapse, or the foreign invasions? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a difficult time, be sure to subscribe for more historical breakdowns. Until next time.